Okay, we got one more to show you, but I do need somebody to help me out with this trick. Maybe, let's see, what is your name, dear?
Joni.
Joni? Give Joni a nice round of applause. Joni, come on now. Let's hear it for Joni. Hi, Joni. Thank you so much for helping me. Now, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping you have a ring I could borrow. Do you have a ring I could borrow? Excellent. Is that the wedding band?
No.
I thought it came off pretty easy, but that's very good. Joni, I appreciate it, and that's a very lovely ring. I appreciate you letting me borrow. I want to give you like a thank you collateral type thing. Okay, Joni?
Okay.
Let's see, what do we have for Joni? Ooh, it's a good night. We have a lemon. High five. Joni's excited, okay? Now, Joni, I really appreciate you letting me borrow the ring, and the reason I borrowed it from you is I'm going to show you a brand new invention. It's actually an invention of my own. I'm quite proud of it. It's called a bag of invincibility. I have it right here. Whatever is placed inside of the bag of invincibility becomes completely and totally invincible. I'm going to demonstrate this for you all this evening with Joni's very, very lovely ring. Place the ring inside the bag. The ring is now completely and totally invincible. I'm going to show you what I mean. Hold on to the top of the bag just like that. Here's where things get cool. Watch this. Watch this. I need a couple things. Let's see. I need. Oh, there it is. There it is. I have. Okay. Ready? Watch this.
Yep, card.
High five. Not so much. Okay, Joni. I know you're a little worried. Look, you have nothing to worry about. Think about it. It's been a pretty solid show so far, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is in the bag of invincibility. Look, I don't want to touch the bag. Take the bag again. Hold it by the string. I want you to kind of give it a little jingle by your ear. Just a little jingle by your ear. Do you hear a bunch of little pieces jiggling around? You do. You're not supposed to. That's okay, Joni. Open up the bag. And now we have a nutshell. You're going to take these nuts and place them inside the drawstring bag. Just grab some of the whole nuts, place them inside the drawstring bag, and then also place the thumb tip into the bag. Tip down just like that. Now you have a bag prepared and the nutshell is cleared out. The next thing we have to prepare is the lemon and the egg. Here's where things get a little messy, a little fun, but it's all part of the trick. First thing we need to do is hollow out the egg. Now, some of you may have done this when you were a kid at Easter time. Basically, we're going to poke a hole in the top and the bottom of the egg and then blow the contents of the egg out. So, take your X-Acto knife, just tap the top of the egg till you get a little hole. Keep tapping. You want to get the hole to be about 1/8 of an inch or so in circumference. This way, it's pretty easy for the contents to come out. If you make the hole too small, it can be really hard to blow, and if you make it too big, it's a lot more obvious. So get a decent hole up there, turn the egg over, get a hole on this side. And this next part is a little gross, but fun nonetheless. Hold the egg over a sink or a trash can and just blow the contents out. There you go. Now, some people might think if you're doing this trick quite a few times, you would want to prepare a bunch of these eggs in advance. I found that it's better not to. And the reason why is when the egg or when the walnut appears inside the egg, as you saw in the performance, it really looks like it's coming out of the center of the egg. If you allow the egg to dry, in other words, if you were to prepare these a week in advance or so and allow the egg to dry out, when you squeeze the walnut in, as you'll see later on in the explanation, the egg will shatter and it's not quite as impressive. So anyway, there's your prepared egg. Now we need to prepare the lemon. Basically, I'm going to cut the lemon in half, scoop out the insides, put the egg inside of it, and then glue it back together. Now, if you were to cut the egg or the lemon exactly in half, you would have a little problem. The problem you would have, it would be difficult to put the lemon back together. Okay? So, I found it better to cut the egg along the circumference here, or not the circumference, but about 1/4 or 1/3 of the way to the top, and do it with a little curve. I'll show you what I mean exactly. Take a knife around here, about 1/3 or 1/4 of the way to the top, squeeze in, and then you're going to cut it in kind of a circle. Now let me show you why that's important. This way, when you go to put the lemon back together, it's really easy to line it up. I think that kind of makes sense. Now we need to clear the center of the lemon out. What I found is easiest. Take the grapefruit spoon. You're going to kind of squeeze it in along the middle like that. Kind of clear out the middle. Allow some of the juice to come out. Now here's the easiest way I found to remove the lemon. Start just a little bit away from the lemon, slightly into the rind. Squeeze that spoon in and get it started. You want to have some separation there. Now continue with your finger and just kind of work your way down and around. And with a little bit of practice, you can get pretty good at this. Just kind of using my finger to squeeze everything off. Now it's important that you remove all the lemon all the way to the rind to have this work good. Okay, there's the majority of it. You can see I still have a little bit left, so I'm going to kind of use a spoon to clean things up. So there's the top part of the lemon, or the bottom part of the lemon. Now we're going to do the same thing with this little top piece. It's a little bit easier because obviously there's less to clear out. Just kind of squeeze in, work your way around. And there you go. Okay, here comes the fun part. We're going to place the egg into the lemon and then super glue it on place. So now if you look at this, the hole is too small for the egg. This really isn't a problem because of those two holes in the egg. You can squeeze the egg in real easily. The air escapes through those two little holes. Okay, now I'm just going to glue this on top, and again, since I cut it with this curve, it's going to make it a lot easier. So take the super glue, apply a generous amount right around there. Put your top on, line things up, and make sure you don't have any little lemon pulp sticking out. Set it aside, let it dry, and you're ready to go. Now this preparation you could do a day before the show. You'd still be fine. If you were to do this quite a few days, obviously the lemon would start to deteriorate. And for the freshest looking lemon, I found it's best to do it, the day of the show, an hour before or whatever. But it's not a problem doing it a day before the show. Anyway, that's the preparation of the produce. Have fun. Okay, here is your final pre-show preparations. We have the bag prepared with the walnuts and thumb tip inside. This goes in your briefcase, along with the lemon, which has had time to dry. The egg is obviously inside it. That goes in the briefcase. The hammer goes in the briefcase. The nutcracker goes in the briefcase. The knife goes in the briefcase. And you're going to have to prepare the walnuts. This is where the contact cement comes into view. Now, contact cement is a pretty neat product. What it is designed to do is you apply it to two surfaces of wood or whatever, allow it to dry. Then when it sticks together, it makes a really, really solid bond. It works great for this trick. I found the easiest way to apply it to the walnuts is to use a Q-tip. So we'll remove the top and simply get some glue on the tip of a Q-tip and apply it along the seam of the shell. Now you want to be pretty liberal with this, but you want to be careful not to get the glue on the outside of the shell. This way when it glues together, there won't be any residue on the outside. So again, a pretty liberal amount on both sides of the shell. Now if you were to read the instructions of the contact cement, it says to let it dry at least 15 minutes and no more than 2 hours. So you definitely want to follow those rules and apply the glue at least 15 minutes prior to the time you're going to perform the trick. If you're going to do the trick later on in your show, let's say an hour into the show, you want to do this right before the show starts. But if this is going to be your opening effect, you'd want to prepare at least 15 minutes, a half hour before you do the show. So simply lay it on like that, allow this to sit and dry, and then you're going to put these in the briefcase as well. Now, most of the time, I simply just stick them in the briefcase, but sometimes you're in a situation where you have to carry the briefcase into where you're performing condition or whatever, and you don't want to give these walnut shells an opportunity to go together. So I would just put them in an egg crate like this. This keeps them separate. You can put them in your briefcase. They're safe. They're ready to go. Now you're prepared to perform the trick. Okay, so now we're ready to perform the trick. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is borrow a ring. Give you a little bit of advice about the ring you select. In my experience, you want to definitely get a lady's ring because they're more petite. They easily fit inside of a thumb tip, and they also fit inside the walnut better. You want to get a ring that's recognizable for obvious reasons. So, in my opinion, the best ring to borrow is an engagement type ring. So, borrow the ring from the spectator. Offer them as collateral a lemon. Obviously, this is your prepared lemon. Now, you don't want to let them really examine this lemon because it is glued together, and if they were to get a little crazy with it, they could, pop it apart. So give it to them casually, get your laugh, and then you just sit it aside. Now, you mentioned the bag of invincibility. Take out the bag. Again, inside the bag is a thumb tip with the walnuts. I'm going to grip the bag from the outside right on top of the thumb tip right here. Thusly. Now, as you apparently place the ring into the bag, you are simply putting the ring right into the thumb tip and putting the thumb tip onto your thumb. Immediately come out and grab the drawstrings and pull them taut. Now you can see the thumb tip is hidden and concealed quite well. If you immediately hand the bag to the spectator, you're pretty clean. I'm sure you guys know how to handle a thumb tip, but in my opinion, the best thing to do to conceal a thumb tip is to forget it's there. If you try and do stuff like this, I think you're calling attention to your thumb, and if you just forget it's there, it's concealed better. So anyway, you hand the bag to them, and then you say you're going to break out the proof that it's a bag of invincibility. I go into my briefcase. While in my briefcase, I quickly dump the ring out and stick it into half of the walnut. It's only in one half at this point. Okay? That is as I come out with the hammer. Now you crush the nuts, then give the bag to the spectator to dump the nuts out. Now, while they are dumping the nuts out, you have some pretty good misdirection. Everybody's watching those nuts come out, and you get a laugh. While that's happening, I put the hammer back into the briefcase. This time, when I go into the case, I take the nut shells and I just stick them together. Now, because of this contact cement, it instantly bonds, and it bonds really strong. I mean, that really makes a good bond. It's very, very difficult to pull this apart. This nut can withstand some pretty scrutinous examination. Okay, so again, this is here. Now the ring is inside the nutshell. The nuts are on the table. You got your laugh. The ring is vanished. Now call attention to the lemon. Okay, say you never know what's going to be inside a lemon. Pull out your knife. Now, because we cut the lemon on this side, we have a really clean, fresh lemon over here that we can cut open to show the egg on the inside. That was another reason for offsetting this cut. So I go in kind of a curly Q, and since that egg really is inside of the lemon, you want to make sure the audience can definitely see the egg coming out. So real slow, real fair, do kind of a curly Q type thing, and slowly that egg starts to appear. And what else is neat about this, it almost looks like you're cutting that lemon rind off exactly. They see the white, they don't know it's an egg until you reach in and pull it out and show, oh, wait a minute, we got an egg. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you return the lemon and the knife to your briefcase, all you do is pick up that walnut. Okay, now I'm going to hold the walnut in a Ramsey type subtlety, meaning I'm going to curl my fingers around the top of the walnut shell so that you can kind of see the palm of the hand. This comes out like this, then you place the egg right in the palm of the hand. So this only happens for a second, but now when you squeeze, what's going to happen is that nut is going to get squozen inside of the egg shell. It looks something like this in slow type motion. See how the egg kind of gets placed inside of the shell? Now you can get a pretty cool reveal where it looks like that nut really came out of the inside of the walnut, or inside of the eggshell. Now this is pretty cool. You have their ring inside of a nut that they can examine. I think you want to take advantage of this. You want to make sure that they look at the nut, verify it is a real nutshell, and you want to be really clean when you open up the nut. But I think it would be crazy to let the spectator crack open the nutshell themselves, because they could do so with enough force that they could damage the ring. Now, I have performed this trick for 15 years. I've done it hundreds, if not thousands of times, and so far I've never had any problems with damaging the ring. But I do open the nutshell with a lot of caution. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you do so with a lot of caution, because it is obviously someone else's ring. So we take our nutcracker and we're going to open up the nut. Now, if you were to squeeze the nut by the seam where you typically would open a nut, you could cause the nut to open up where you just glued it together, and it wouldn't look quite as natural. So I found it's a little bit better to squeeze it along the top and bottom, kind of squeezing the nut together where you glued it together. And then you apply some pressure, again, subtle pressure. You don't want to crack this thing hard. You want to just kind of get a little break like that. And now you're very fair. You just take it open. They see the ring, reach inside, pull it out. You've done a miracle, and that is the ring and walnut trick. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and I thank you again.